Welcome to the Visionary Chronicles, a business strategy podcast where we provide insight to those looking for creative, executable strategies built around the latest disruptive ideas, innovative cultures, product creators, and marketing solutions. Welcome to the Visionary Chronicles. Today we're going to talk about something that business leaders, entrepreneurs, myself, in the journey of being an entrepreneur or even a business leader, whatever it happens to be, you face difficulties in life, both personal and professional. And when I started the Visionary Chronicles, this was an area I felt was important. It wasn't talked about enough on business podcasts. And I wanted to make sure that as we talked about success, how we talked about strategy, that we also understood that there's personal and professional challenges leaders face. And there's a Bible verse that I love that a lot of people have heard of, and I think it's an anchoring principle in a lot of people's lives. In particular, what I found with visionary leaders, this is the verse that most of them adhere to when they go through challenges and they go through the journey of being an entrepreneur or a business leader, is trust in the Lord with all your heart. And don't lean on your own understanding in all your ways. In all your ways, acknowledge him and he'll make your path straight. That's Proverbs 3:5-6. And everyone faces this adversity. I don't care who you are. If all you've had is mountain experiences, just wait. It's not a matter of if, but when you're going to go through a valley experience. And it's the faith and the building of trust that's at the core of many of the greatest, what I call generational visionary leaders. And along with writing the book, The Visionary Brand, which was an Amazon bestseller and also was awarded the Reader's Favorite Award for Best Marketing Genre Business Book, I just finished the manuscript on the visionary leader. And this kind of goes towards a part of what makes a visionary leader. Facing that adversity, but having faith and building trust with not only your team, but many times what's forgotten is building trust in yourself. And I mention that Bible verse because I found that many visionary leaders will have a faith verse or a trust verse or something that inspires them during the difficult times. And most, if not all, visionary leaders had this trait. So I want you to know that as you go through this journey, that will provide many valleys and mountain experiences. I wanted to give a platform where we talk about these professional successes and personal support. And as an entrepreneur or a visionary leader, you take on these unbelievable roles of being a visionary, a passionate believer, a leader of the team, and providing this ongoing support, which tasks you every day. Even though you may not want to do it, it's a part of your DNA. Each role takes a toll on you professionally and personally, during good times and most importantly, during difficult times. Most of us face it during business, but many of you carry it home with you personally. So these difficult times along that journey are the hardest, and few navigate it successfully. And what I mean by that is, what do you do during the difficult times? It isn't part of book smarts. It isn't anything that people want to face. They just have to face it. And those what we find in looking at visionary leaders, those who build trust, create a legacy. And those who do not lose integrity, trust, and the passion for executing their vision. So again, most podcasts discuss leadership styles or principles, but what I found is few discuss that long-term benefit of building trust for themselves and with their team. And what I find is when you go through these difficulties, it's usually because of a problem, an issue, things that were thrust upon you, that you just find it difficult to move forward day to day. Or maybe you lose trust in yourself, the team loses trust in you, whatever it is. And what I find is building trust with yourself and your team become integral and crucial for effective leadership as you move forward during difficult times. So what I wanted to do is not all, but just give you some transparency around things that you can do on a day-to-day basis that will prepare you for what I call the inevitable of difficult times. And when you go through difficult times, how to maneuver through the difficult times. Not that it's ever easy, but what you'll find is through faith and through integrity and through truth and through direct communications with yourself and with your team, you work through it. So I just wanted to give you a few tidbits of advice and things that I find will help you as you move forward in your career, or move forward in challenging and overcoming these opportunities and challenges that you face on a day-to-day basis. So let's go through these points one by one. And I find the first is transparent communication. Many times when you're going through difficulties, you may want to hide things, but being open and transparent and honest about your team's challenges and the potential organizational impact are integral to maintaining that trust with yourself and with your team. So sharing this information transparently, including successes and setbacks, to maintain the trust and, more importantly, the credibility with your team is number one. So transparent communication. Don't try to hide things. I find many instances with Liquid Mind and working with the brands and leaders that will actually go through our advisory council with them. And these are the things that we talk about. And the reason that I'm talking about it today is that I know the leaders go through this. And there's too many times where they get advice on how to run a business, but not how to run the human machine. Number two is proactive listening. Take the time to listen to team members or teams' concerns, ideas, and their feedback during these difficult times. There may be something you're missing. And in particular, during difficult times, demonstrate empathy with the team, understanding, validating their feelings and experiences. And this is why I mention personal and professional, because it does take a toll on you personally. And you want to make sure that as you listen, that you understand that they're going through the same thing, your team members. And believe me, the more empathy you have, the more you listen, the more you validate their feelings as they move through these challenging times, the more trust that will be built over the term of your relationship with your team. And number three is lead with integrity. Within the age that we have today with social media, posts, interactive technologies, day-to-day, minute-to-minute, second-to-second, you want to make sure that you're modeling integrity and ethical behavior in everything that you do and all the decisions that you make. Stay true to your values and principles. And that's why it's so critical. I go back to, if you haven't seen the pod or heard the podcast, talking about the foundational principles of a brand. And this is where it becomes very, very important, because challenges can be brought on through, let's say, Mother Nature, or they can be brought on by yourself. And if you're not prepared for them, and you violated some principles of the brand as a result, you're going to cause some heartache with the brand, either through brand equity, team not trusting you, whatever it happens to be. But you want to make sure you're leading with integrity. So stay true to your foundational values as a company and principles. Even in the adversity, in particular in adversity, build trust and respect with your team. So we've got transparent communications, proactive listening to your team, and leading with integrity. Number four area in working with building trust during difficult times with your team and with yourself is always have clarity and direction. I know you've got a vision, but many times what happens, and what we find with Liquid Mind, is during the difficult times is when people not just pivot, they completely change their principles and the vision of the company and what was originally intended to do, what you are going to build with the company. So as you move through these difficult times, offer up clear, repeated direction and guidance to the team, outlining priorities that you have and expectations during these challenging times. They're looking to you for leadership Communicate this compelling, ongoing vision that you still have for the success of your brand in the company. This will inspire confidence, passion, and ongoing commitment of your team. So clarity and direction. The next is empowering. And what I find, there's nothing more that builds trust and confidence during difficult times is when you empower your team. You delegate your authority. You provide them with the resources to succeed. And the reason I put this one here is if most companies that you've been with, during difficult times, what's the first thing that they do? They either lay people off, put more on the people that are left with less tools to succeed in the new role that they have. So there's a misbalance between expectations and the tools to succeed in that role that they've given to them. And that creates frustration. It creates distrust. So you want to make sure that you're empowering, but also supporting your team during these difficult times. Offer encouragement, reassure them. Show confidence in their ability to succeed. But you have to empower them to do this. The next is, during difficult times, I get it. It's hard to celebrate the wins. But acknowledge and celebrate all the wins. Not just the small ones, not just the large ones. Celebrate victories, milestones, whatever you have to do. No matter how insignificant they may be, that's a win. This boosts morale, reinforces a sense of progress during these difficult times. It's a little bit of this light at the end of the tunnel that people can't see during difficult times. So you want to make sure you're celebrating all wins with the team. And the next is right the ship. Okay, there's a lot of stability, instability, inconsistency. Reverse that. Maintain stability and consistency during difficult times. During difficult times, turbulent times, you want to make sure you're righting the ship. Avoid, and here's what we see all the time. Make sure that you check and balance, okay? Avoid making these sudden changes or knee-jerk reactions that could undermine trust and confidence. Many, many times I've seen brands where they whiteboard things. How do you get through this challenging time? Let's cut back people. Let's cut back resources. Let's cut back tools. Let's not communicate. Let's not give them the tools or the reinforcements to succeed in their new role. So stability and consistency is integral to ongoing success during difficult times. And there's one word that I put up on the board when they're going through difficult times is resilience. Every visionary leader, every visionary brand is resilient. During difficult times is when they step up. So build the culture of resilience. Let people know that you can adapt, they can persevere, have a growth mindset, not a compression mindset. Encourage team members to learn from setbacks and challenges. They'll become a more valuable resource as you move forward. Think of the challenge that you've had in the past have made you a better leader. So who's ever on your team, as you go through these challenges, make sure they understand resilience is what makes you a better leader. And the next is demonstrate faith and optimism. Express faith and optimism in the team's ability to overcome obstacles and emerge stronger from this adversity. Give them stories of the challenges that you've been through as a leader and how you've come out the back end more successful. Past successes. Remind them as a team how they're going to succeed and move through these challenges. And the next is lead with a little bit of vulnerability and authenticity. Being authentic is so important when you're trying to build trust, not only with your team, but probably more importantly with yourself. If you're leading a false leadership style, if you're not communicating authentically with your team, they'll see through it eventually. Maybe not in the beginning, but eventually they do. So during challenging periods, leaders should be transparent about the situation that we're in. And also, The vulnerability is conveying your doubts or uncertainties because you've got a team that's there to support you. That's where empowering helps as well. And also admitting you don't have all the answers. 99% of the leaders don't during challenging times. And I was putting together the book, The Visionary Leader. What I found is all visionary leaders are vulnerable. All of them are honest. All of them are authentic. But all of them were resilient. So this authenticity can really deepen the relationship that you have among your team members and also you as a leader. And the next is communicate frequently during these times. Infrequent communication creates doubt. And the last thing that you want during a turbulent time is doubt. And trust is built through clear, consistent communication. And I say clear is being honest and being authentic and being consistent in everything that you talk about. Leaders should provide regular updates. Let them know when the news is great or when the news is bad. They want to know being upfront about setbacks and challenges preserves the trustworthiness of the team and the purpose that you have as a brand. And the next is remain steady and resilient. It isn't about being resilient for a week or 2 weeks or a day. When things get complicated, teams look to leaders as the pillar of strength and perseverance. So make sure that you have that as a leader. Remain calm. I call it the duck leadership. On the surface, you look calm. Underneath, you're paddling like crazy. So stay calm, focused, and resilient in the face of obstacles. This really cultivates trust in your team's ability to navigate through this crisis and stay on course to your vision. The next is uphold your foundational principles. I say values can change, principles cannot. They're anchors for your brand. Sticking to your foundational principles, especially when tough choices arise. I've seen many brands where they're looking for the quick buck through the challenges. Sales are off. Where do we find the next sale? We go into a channel we don't belong in. We create an inferior product, inferior service, whatever it is. We get rid of our customer service agents and the experience is not what it used to be. That's an experience that your consumers don't forget and your team will not forgive. So make sure you're upholding your foundational principles. And the last one is remain accountable. I've seen too many leaders through my time with the brands I've been with, these global iconic brands that I've been with, and also with Liquid Mind. People just don't see how they're accountable many times. And it's clear as day to your team. So if you feel that you were the cause of something, or that you had a part and were accountable to the situation that you're in today, let them know that. Just be accountable, take responsibilities, follow through on your commitments, and hold the team accountable as well. So practice accountability nurtures trustworthiness. Many leaders, inferior leaders, ones that are many times maybe narcissist leaders, whatever it is, they just don't want to be held accountable for anything. So again, if you're building and maintaining trust with yourself and your team through difficult times, these are areas that I recommend taking a look at. Transparent communication, proactive listening, leading with integrity, providing clarity and direction at all times, empowering your team and supporting them to success, celebrating all, not small, but all wins. Maintain stability and consistency, building resilience, demonstrating faith and optimism that things will turn around, and leading with vulnerability and authenticity, communicating frequently and remaining steady and resilient through the challenges. And the final two are upholding foundational principles and remaining accountable. So by implementing these strategies, you can really foster trust between your team in yourself, even in the most challenging times, laying this foundation for continued collaboration, innovation, success going forward. And by integrating these principles on a daily basis and leadership practices, business leaders, whoever it is, leaders, entrepreneurs, create this positive and truly impactful work environment where faith, integrity, and compassion are central to the organizational culture and success. So again, really the Visionary Chronicles is here both on a personal level as well as a professional level. Knowing that entrepreneurs, business leaders go through difficult times, they internalize things, and their team suffers as a result, but also they suffer as a result. So that's what this is all about. This episode of the Visionary Chronicles is leadership trust, building trust with yourself and your team. So I always say, stay true, stay authentic, be different, and be great, but enjoy the journey along the way. And if you like what we're talking about today, and hopefully you do, make sure that you subscribe to the Visionary Chronicles. And also, if you have the opportunity, we would really appreciate it if you could review the Visionary Chronicles, good or bad. Hopefully you like what we're talking about. And also, thank you to those that have supported the Visionary Chronicles, all of our subscribers. We were voted #1 global visionary, and top 50 marketing podcast by FeedSpot. Recently finished my best-selling book, The Visionary Brand, The Success Formula Behind the World's Most Visionary Brands, Reader's Favorite Award for Best Nonfiction Marketing Genre Book. And with the release of the book, proud to say, after many, many months of work and hard sweat and tears, whatever you want to call it, we finished the Visionary Brand Master Course and have entrepreneurs, leaders taking the course as we speak. So go ahead to thevisionarychronicles.com. Take a look at the 18 courses. When I look at that's a lot of information, and you can skip chapters, which is cool. But it's a course where 18 different videos of different subjects that go through each chapter and verse from the Visionary Brand book. So glad to hear we've gotten feedback not only on the book and how leaders have applied it, but also with the Visionary Brand Master course as well. So again, that's at thevisionaryfiles.com. And also, if you have any questions on the podcast, any business questions, whatever it may be, feel free to reach out to us. We have free meetings at liquidmindsite.com, liquidmindsite.com. Reach out to me directly at Brian, Bryan, at liquidmindsite.com, liquidmindsite.com. Also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also LinkedIn. So again, thank you so much for your time today. I know you're all busy, and hopefully you enjoy the subjects that we have here with the Visionary Chronicles, and we look forward to the next Visionary Chronicles podcast.